Hello, my crafty friends. Thanks so much for joining me on Creative Scrapbooker magazine. And what I wanted to talk to you today about is organizing your workspace for what you're working on, right? So I talk all the time about organizing your workspace as a space, a big room, crop totes, shelving, whatever it is. And I just want to talk to you about your space. And one of the things that happens when we craft is we end up with something that looks like this. So right here under all this pile are the things that are the pictures that I'm going to use for this double page layout. But what happens is, as I'm working, I've pulled out all these things and they just get piled around. And do you ever find yourself like going, oh, okay, where's my tape runner? Where's my paper trimmer? And just sort of tapping around on your pile. What I want to recommend that you do is figure out a way to get that stuff vertical. I know you have heard me say this over and over again, right? Get that stuff vertical and accessible where you can keep all the pieces to your project together in one nice, neat space. And what am I going to recommend for that? Of course, I'm going to recommend the latest and greatest in the Totally-Tiffany product line, and that is our Craft and Carry Workstation. And so when you get your Craft and Carry Workstation, it's going to come totally flat like this. Now, many of you are going to look at this as I'm putting it together and as I'm using it and think, how is that different than my Ditto bag? Or why is that different than my Ditto bag? Now, keep in mind, the Ditto bag was designed as permanent tool storage. It's something you're going to use on your desk and you're going to take it with you to events. And it's all the stuff you always use all the time, right out in front of you and accessible. This product is designed for this problem. So if you are somebody, regardless of whether you're doing mixed media, you're working with your Cricut machine, you are doing a home decor project, you're scrapbooking, you're card making, and you find that you are doing the tap and search, looking for your scissors or your ruler or your template or your die or whatever it is that you pulled out for that project, this is exactly the product for you. So this is 3 levels. The compartments in the front are separated by these little dividers and they're just attached with hook and loop fabric. These are also hook and looped in. So if you want a bigger or smaller section, you can just move those around. Then you've got this tall section in the back. In the very back, you've got a big pocket right here, and then you've got long pockets and mesh pockets on the side. And just as I'm talking you through this, you're going to be able to watch how fast and easy it is and how simple it is. So I'm just going to start cleaning up my workspace here. It doesn't matter. I've got ink pads. I've got stamps that I've pulled out. Oops, I didn't put the bottom section in there. I've got stamps that I've pulled out to use. There's my paper trimmer. So simple. All the markers. And one of the things about this method, now, obviously, this is a product that I have designed specifically to solve this problem. If for some reason you don't love it and you don't want one, that is fine. But think about something else you could use that would take your products vertically, that would put everything for that particular project right out in front of you and at your fingertips so that you can see it and you can access it as you're working. So each of these things that I'm adding to my vertical storage here, if you're seeing this, it's all staying visible and it's all staying accessible as I put it away. So even things like stencils and stamps that I've pulled out, baker's twine, I've got these cute little flags and tags that I'm going to use, but they're just buried right now. Well, now I've got this nice clear pocket on the front. I've got a smaller clear pocket on the front down here, and you can see as I'm picking things up, I'm putting them away, but they're not disappearing, right? They're staying visible, they're staying accessible. I've got these big long Kiwi Lane templates that I'm going to use to make my little sky. I've pulled out a couple of tag dies that I'm going to use. Now, dies are a challenge. Small dies are like this are a challenge because once you put them down in your workspace, they're almost certain to disappear. That is where you're going to love those little clear pockets, because just putting the small things in there, you're going to be able to see them. Now I'm stacking my scraps, my cut paper in the front, and I'm trying to stagger it so that I can actually see the different sizes and shapes or lengths of paper, so that as I put it in there, I'm maintaining some of the visibility for the different items that I've already cut. super simple. Big pieces of cardstock, that's a scrap. Now, if I had started this project by pulling out my paper and my supplies and putting them right into my Craft and Carry Workstation, I would have never had the mess to start with. But now look, in this small space, and I can find every single thing, whether it's glue, glitter glue, re-inker, tape runners, embossing powder, whatever it is that I wanted to work with or that I plan to work with on this project, it's all right here. So whatever you do, whatever you're thinking, think about going vertical so that you can condense that space down, right? So you can go vertical with this project. Now, if I'm going to put the project away, here's the other beautiful thing about this. I can take the actual layout and then take one of our 12 by 12 pockets. I've just pushed my glasses out of the way and I'm doing this upside down. And I could take all of those pieces that are the actual layout, pop that in there, and now I can move the whole project out of the way. So because I've gone vertical, I've condensed everything down and I've made it all movable, all portable in one quick, easy motion. So going vertical is not only for paper, which I've talked about over and over again, it's for anything. It's going to condense down the space. It's going to make things much more visual and much more accessible. So in this Craft and Carry Workstation, I've gone vertical with a scrapbooking project. But if I was working with my Cricut machine, I could pull my Cricut machine out and I could use these pockets here for all the tools for the Cricut. And if I have 12 by 12 vinyl squares, those would fit in the back. If I have vinyl rolls, which I happen to have right here, right, I would be able to stand those up in here while I was working. If I had the green, the 12 by 12 cutting mat, that is going to fit in here. So I've got my tools, my scraps, my vinyl, everything that I'm using for that project right here. And then when I'm done, I can take this and put everything away, right? So I start with this empty each time, and then I move forward with each project as I'm working. So it's not something that I'm going to use all the time, but it is something that I'm going to use every time I pull out a project. I'm going to pull this out to keep that project organized. Now, this is a relatively new product for us. There are a lot of people who have multiples of them lined up on their desk and they leave them out all the time, and it does work great for that. But keep in mind, it was designed for the tap, the scissor tap, right? Where are my scissors? Where's that die? It is also perfect though for other things. We're doing, you know, some kids crafting, homeschool. So it's gonna work for storage as well. So this is all just loaded with kids craft supplies. Just last week I was working on my planner pages, and so I didn't put this one away because I thought, oh, I'm going to show this in the video about going vertical. If I had these punches and the scissors and my Xyron and all the little papers sitting out in front of me, it would take up all this space. And if I needed to clean up, it would be a lot of effort to clean up and move out of the way if I needed that table space. If I was working at the dining room table, or if I was working from the TV on the coffee table, I needed to clean it up. Going vertical in a small container makes everything visible, everything is accessible, and you're also able to put it away. So if you didn't get to finish that project, now you can pick up your vertical organizer and move it somewhere else and then bring it right back out. So whether you're working on craft supplies or scrapbooking, craft supplies with your kids, card making, again, with your Cricut machine, your planner, your home office, maybe you travel around in a motorhome and you need a mini organizer for home office stuff, this is a perfect way to go. Think about going vertical, think about condensing down that space. So my big tip for you today on Technique Tasters is go vertical with your project, not just with your paper, but anything that you can get vertical, visible, and accessible is going to make your crafting life, maybe your planner life or your home office life or anywhere else in your home, more organized, which is going to make it easier. And you know what I always say, if it's easy, it gets done. Thanks so much for tuning in today. Have a great rest of your day.